A woman 72 years old, she suffered a life-altering stroke. This woman was missing a key piece of information. For years, we have been conditioned to look for the dramatic signs, the crushing chest pain, the tingling down the arm, the sudden collapse. But the truth, especially for women over 50, is that the danger does not roar, it whispers. What if I told you that those persistent but subtle feelings, the unexplained pounding in your chest after a light dinner, the intense fatigue right when you wake up, the simple, quiet shortness of breath are not just a side effect of getting older. They are a distress signal. They are the true, silent indicators of an impending heart attack or a major stroke that doctors often miss. In this critical episode, I am going to reveal the 5 overlooked whispers your body gives you. We will turn those subtle signals into power so you can walk into your next Dr. S appointment armed with the knowledge to protect your heart and change your own future. It sounds dramatic, but here is the critical paradox we must confront today. Millions of women over the age of 60 are unknowingly consuming for common kitchen staples for so-called healthy vegetables that are quietly accelerating the aging of their arteries, driving up inflammation, and bringing them closer to a sudden cardiovascular event. The danger does not lie in the vegetables themselves, but in the specific way we process them, prepare them, and the sheer quantity in which we consume them, especially once we cross that pivotal 60-year mark. We have reached a point in life where our body's tolerance for metabolic and inflammatory stress is much lower. A small mistake in your diet can now have monumental consequences. But here is the profoundly good news, the piece of empowering knowledge that will change your daily routine for the better. There are also 4 other powerful, natural, and incredibly common vegetables for true heart heroes that are readily available and scientifically proven to reduce inflammation, relax your blood vessels, regulate your blood pressure, and actively prevent a heart attack. These are the secrets I share with my own family, and now I am sharing them with you. Which innocent-looking vegetables are the hidden saboteurs you must remove from your kitchen today? And which 4 are the nutritional fortresses you must start building your diet around? Do not move, because what you learn in the next few minutes could literally add years of quality life to your future. Let us start by immediately addressing the first hidden danger, one that is found in nearly every American kitchen. The 4 silent saboteurs, vegetables you must limit after 60. Silent saboteur number 1. The white potato. For generations, the white potato has been the ultimate comfort food. It is cheap, versatile, and feels as familiar as the air we breathe. We mash them with cream and butter, roast them until they are crispy, or simmer them in stews. But for those of us over 60, this humble food harbors a critical, hidden danger to our cardiovascular system. The core issue with the white potato is its extraordinarily high glycemic index (GI). In fact, many common varieties of white potatoes have a GI score that rivals or even exceeds that of pure table sugar. When you eat a potato, especially without the skin, the starches are rapidly converted into glucose. This causes a sudden, dramatic spike in your blood sugar. Imagine your body's insulin system is an overworked dam attempting to hold back a flood. Every time you consume a high GI food like a white potato, you are suddenly opening the floodgates. Your pancreas must rush to produce a massive amount of insulin to clear that glucose from your blood. Over time, this constant metabolic stress leads to insulin resistance. This is the state where your cells become deaf to insulin signals, which means your body starts storing excess glucose as visceral fat, particularly around your abdomen. But the damage does not stop at your waistline. The chronic high insulin levels and the resulting sugar spikes trigger a dangerous state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. This inflammation is the silent assassin of your cardiovascular system. It is what causes micro-tears and irritation in the delicate lining of your blood vessels, known as the endothelium. Over decades, this is where cholesterol and plaque begin to stick, leading directly to atherosclerosis, or the hardening of the arteries. Once your arteries lose their flexibility and become hardened, they cannot cope with sudden surges in blood pressure, making you exponentially vulnerable to a stroke or heart attack. A powerful study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed thousands of older adults and found a chilling correlation. Those who ate white potatoes more than 4 times a week had a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. We all know that diabetes, chronic inflammation, and high blood pressure form the infamous deadly trio that collectively accounts for the vast majority of heart attacks and strokes in older adults. The danger of preparation. Now you might think, I bake or roast mine, so I'm safe. Sadly, the opposite is often true. Roasting or frying a potato only concentrates the starches, making them even more easily digestible and causing a faster, higher blood sugar spike. And if you are frying them, you are adding the extra danger of unhealthy fats and potentially the formation of acrylamide, a known carcinogen linked to various health risks. I remember my patient, Mrs. Evelyn Carter, a 72-year-old retired librarian. She came to me feeling chronically fatigued and was battling borderline hypertension. She honestly thought she had a healthy diet, emphasizing her evening meal of roasted potatoes and chicken. Once we swapped out her potatoes for alternatives like a half-cup serving of jicama or a small amount of parsnips, her energy levels soared. Within 10 weeks, her post-meal blood sugar crashes vanished, and her blood pressure readings stabilized enough that we were able to discuss adjusting one of her medications with her cardiologist. The simple potato, which she saw as harmless, was the key metabolic trigger. Your actionable alternative: do not cut out the potato entirely if you absolutely love it, but approach it with caution and strategy. Embrace resistant starch. If you must eat a potato, cook it and then cool it completely in the refrigerator for at least 12 hours. This process changes some of the digestible starch into resistant starch, which acts much like fiber. When you reheat and eat it, the blood sugar impact is far lower. The best swap: immediately replace white potatoes with non-starchy alternatives like cauliflower mash, mashed turnips, or rutabaga. These offer the same creamy, hearty texture without the dangerous glycemic load. Your heart will thank you for the gentler metabolic journey. Silence saboteur number 2, processed sweet corn products. The second item on our list is another American favorite, sweet corn. In its natural, fresh-off-the-cob state, corn offers some fiber and decent nutrients. However, the problem with corn is twofold. It has evolved, and we consume it predominantly in its processed, dangerous form. The evolutionary problem: much of the sweet corn consumed today is vastly different from the corn your grandparents ate. Over the decades, selective breeding and agricultural modification have made modern corn far sweeter and starchier, pushing its glycemic impact higher than it used to be. While the overall verdict on GMO corn's inherent safety is complex, the real danger is what these modifications allow: the aggressive use of pesticides and herbicides. The majority of corn grown in the U.S. is genetically engineered to withstand powerful herbicides like glyphosate. These chemicals are sprayed liberally and are designed not to be washed off. When you consume non-organic corn, you are also consuming residues of these chemicals, which act as endocrine disruptors and increase systemic inflammation in the body. For an older cardiovascular system, this constant inflammatory bombardment is a recipe for disaster. The processing problem, the Trojan horse, but the true heart health catastrophe comes when corn is turned into its many processed derivatives. Think about it. High-fructose corn syrup HSES is in virtually every packaged food, soda, and sweet snack. HSES is an isolated form of sugar that the body converts into fat, specifically dangerous triglycerides, almost immediately. High triglycerides are a direct predictor of heart attack risk. Furthermore, we often buy corn in its seemingly harmless forms, like canned corn or frozen corn mixed into pre-made meals. These packaged goods often harbor massive amounts of hidden sodium and added sugars used for preservation and flavor enhancement. The hidden sodium is particularly lethal, acting as an immediate trigger for hypertension. The American Heart Association has repeatedly warned that this invisible sodium, not the salt shaker on your table, is the primary driver of high blood pressure, which forces your heart to pump harder against immense resistance, leading to thickening of the heart muscle and eventually heart failure. Mrs. Harriet Lawson, a 68-year-old widow from Texas, loved adding a small can of sweet corn to her lunchtime salad every day. It felt like a fresh addition. But a deep dive into her diet revealed that her small can contained over 400 milligrams of sodium, a full 20% of her recommended daily limit just from the canning process. Removing that single ingredient allowed her blood pressure to drop by 6 points in 4 weeks, proving that the silent, hidden sodium in processed vegetables is often the deadliest enemy. Your actionable alternative: choose fresh and organic. When buying corn, always choose fresh on the cob and, if possible, organic to minimize pesticide residue. Read every label. When using canned corn, you must choose no salt added or low sodium versions, and be sure to rinse it thoroughly before consuming. Strategic swaps: replace corn in your salads and soups with heart-healthier, lower glycemic, and fiber-rich options like broccoli florets, Brussels sprouts, or cauliflower rice. Silent saboteur number 3, tomatoes, the processed form. The third item, the tomato, is nutritionally excellent. It is packed with lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that is famous for its heart protective properties. However, for many individuals over 60, the way they are consumed, or more accurately, the processed versions they rely on, introduce to significant threats. The acidity and inflammation threat for older adults, especially women, digestive health often declines. Raw tomatoes, due to their natural acidity, can be a major trigger for acid reflux GERD. While reflux seems like a simple digestive issue, studies in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology have shown a clear link between chronic, severe acid reflux and increased systemic inflammation when your body is constantly battling inflammation, whether from high sugar or internal acid. It diverts resources and puts stress on your nervous system. This constant low-level irritation can subtly raise your baseline blood pressure and increase the inflammatory load on your arteries, making them more vulnerable to plaque formation. The catastrophic processed form. The main threat, however, comes from processed tomato products, which are staples in the American diet. I am talking about ketchup, tomato paste, jarred pasta sauces, and canned tomato soups. These are where food manufacturers commit the ultimate heart health sabotage: hidden sugar. Ketchup is essentially a sugar delivery vehicle. Even 1 tablespoon can contain as much sugar as a chocolate chip cookie. This sugar is pure metabolic stress, triggering the insulin resistance and inflammation we discussed earlier. Sodium overload. Many jarred pasta sauces and canned soups are sodium bombs. A single half-cup serving of pre-made tomato soup can easily contain 600 to 800 milligrams of sodium. If you eat the entire bowl, you have consumed nearly half your daily sodium limit in one sitting. This immediate, massive sodium load causes rapid fluid retention and a sharp spike in blood pressure, making your heart strain instantly. Analogy: the arterial sandpaper. Think of a raw, acidic tomato irritating your stomach lining that is uncomfortable. Now imagine highly processed tomato products, stripped of their fiber and loaded with sugar and salt, slamming into your circulatory system. The sugar acts like metabolic fuel for inflammation, and the salt forces your blood vessels to tighten like a squeeze, essentially acting as sandpaper rubbing against your arterial walls, making them rough and ready for plaque buildup. Your actionable alternative: cook your tomatoes. The single best way to consume tomatoes is cooked. Heat processing breaks down the cell walls, reducing acidity and, critically, increasing the bioavailability of the heart protective antioxidant, lycopene, by up to 4 times. Roast them with olive oil and a pinch of your own salt. For control. Make your own sauce. For pasta sauce and soup, commit to making your own base using crushed or diced tomatoes that are labeled "no salt added," and then control the seasoning yourself. Avoid all ketchups and commercial sauces unless you meticulously check the sugar and sodium content. Silent saboteur number 4, and salt-laden. Green vegetables. The final vegetable on our avoidance list is not a single species, but an entire category that represents a massive, overlooked danger. Any seemingly healthy green vegetable that is purchased in a can or is heavily pre-processed. This includes canned green beans, canned peas, canned mixed vegetables, and even many commercial vegetable juice cocktails. The sodium sink trap. Canned vegetables are the ultimate sodium sink. They are preserved in a salt brine to maintain texture, color, and shelf life. While the fresh versions, green beans, carrots, lima beans, are highly nutritious and beneficial, the convenience of the can turns them into a hidden hazard for your heart. An average half-cup serving of canned green beans, the kind often served at holiday dinners or as a quick side, can contain 350 to 500 milligrams of sodium. If you have a generous serving of a full cup, you have already hit or exceeded the entire recommended sodium intake for one meal, possibly without even seasoning it yourself. This sudden, high concentration of sodium enters your bloodstream, where it pulls water into your arteries, instantly increasing blood volume and forcing your heart to work harder. For a person already battling hypertension, this is a dangerous metabolic insult. The hidden sodium crisis is especially acute for older women who rely on pre-made, convenient vegetable soups. These soups often advertise themselves as being heart-healthy, yet a careful reading of the label reveals sodium levels of 700 to 1,000 milligrams per single serving, sometimes the entire daily recommended intake in one bowl. Analogy: the artery squeeze. Think of your arteries as a garden hose. When you consume too much sodium, your body retains water, and the pressure inside the hose shoots up instantly. Over the long term, your arteries, which are already stiffening with age, are constantly under this maximum pressure, leading to accelerated wear and tear. This is how high sodium directly leads to strokes and heart attacks. By literally making your vessels explode or clot under duress. I worked with a lovely patient named Miss Deborah Jenkins, a 70-year-old who diligently ate soup for lunch every day, convinced she was getting her vegetables. She was shocked when her blood pressure remained stubbornly high despite a medication regimen. We discovered her soup contained almost 900 milligrams of sodium per serving. We switched her to making a batch of homemade, low-sodium broth-based vegetable soup once a week, and her blood pressure dropped by 10 points in 6 weeks. The hidden sodium was the single point of failure. Your actionable alternative, fresh and frozen, are friends. Make the simple switch from canned to fresh or frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables are picked at their peak, contain no added sodium or preservatives, and are often nutritionally superior to fresh produce that has traveled long distances. Rinsing is mandatory. If you must use canned vegetables due to budget or necessity, you must drain and rinse them thoroughly under cool water for at least 60 seconds. This simple act can reduce the sodium content by up to 40%. The zero sodium rule: commit to buying only products labeled no salt added or unsalted when it comes to canned or packaged vegetables. The 4 heart fortresses, vegetables that actively prevent heart attack. Now that we have neutralized the hidden threats, let us turn our attention to the 4 powerful vegetables that are genuine cardiovascular superheroes. These foods are not just benign. They are active medical agents that can strengthen your heart and actively roll back the clock on arterial aging. Heart fortress number 1. Garlic. The natural blood thinner. Garlic is more than just a seasoning. It is an ancient medicine that has been celebrated across civilizations for its powerful therapeutic effects. When it comes to heart health, garlic is a non-negotiable part of your daily defense strategy. The allicin miracle. The active compound in garlic, allicin, is a sulfur-containing miracle molecule. When a clove is crushed, chopped, or chewed, allicin is released. This compound acts in several critical ways that directly protect your heart. Natural blood pressure regulator. Allicin and other sulfur compounds in garlic act as powerful vasodilators, meaning they help relax and widen your blood vessels, similar to how prescription blood pressure medications work. This reduces the pressure your heart has to fight against, immediately lowering both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Meta-analyses of randomized controlled trials have shown that daily garlic consumption can lower systolic blood pressure by 4 to 6 points, a difference that significantly lowers your risk of stroke. Cholesterol reducer. Garlic has been shown to modestly yet consistently lower low-density lipoprotein LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, while also lowering triglycerides. By improving your lipid profile, garlic directly reduces the material available for plaque buildup in your arteries. Anti-clotting agent. Garlic has a mild yet protective antiplatelet effect, meaning it helps prevent your blood cells from becoming too sticky and forming dangerous clots, since most heart attacks are caused by a clot. Blocking an already narrowed artery, garlic acts as a critical line of defense. I recently spoke with a 75-year-old retired school principal, Mr. Dennis Peterson, who was struggling with persistent cholesterol issues and was hesitant to increase his statin dosage. We introduced a regimen of 2 cloves of raw, crushed garlic every day. In just 3 months, his LDL cholesterol dropped by over 15%, he reported, feeling a profound difference in his energy and overall well-being. He called garlic his daily insurance policy. Your actionable technique: the crush and wait rule. The secret to unlocking garlic's full power is in the preparation. You must chop or crush the garlic and then allow it to sit for 10 to 15 minutes before cooking or eating it. This crucial wait time is necessary to allow the enzyme alliinase to convert iron into the potent, heart-benefiting allicin. If you cook it immediately, you destroy this enzyme and lose much of the medicinal benefit. Add it to your cooking only in the final minute, or consume it raw in a teaspoon of olive oil or mixed into a low-sodium vegetable dip. Heart fortress number 2, okra, the blood sugar stabilizer. Okra, often misunderstood due to its mucilaginous texture, is a champion for cardiovascular health, primarily by addressing one of the heart's greatest enemies, unstable blood sugar and the resulting metabolic inflammation. The soluble fiber shield. The magic of okra lies in its incredible wealth of soluble fiber and a unique gelatinous component called mucilage. When you consume okra, this mucilage forms a thick, sticky barrier in your digestive tract. This barrier physically slows down the rate at which sugar and cholesterol are absorbed into your bloodstream, metabolic peacekeeper. By slowing sugar absorption, okra prevents the dramatic blood sugar spikes that force your pancreas to panic. Stable blood sugar means stable insulin, which in turn means significantly less metabolic inflammation, the single biggest driver of heart disease after 60. Cholesterol binder. The soluble fiber actively binds to bile acids, which are made of cholesterol in your gut, forcing your body to excrete them rather than reabsorb them. This process naturally lowers your overall cholesterol levels. A significant study from researchers in China demonstrated that individuals who regularly incorporated okra into their diet showed a 42% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who rarely ate it. This stabilization of blood sugar and inflammation is one of the most powerful ways to protect your heart. Over the long run. The patient story. I think of Mrs. Clara Wong, a 70-year-old woman who was diagnosed with prediabetes and was deeply concerned about her heart health. She hated the texture of cooked okra. Our solution was the okra water method. She sliced for 2 fresh okra pods lengthwise, soaked them overnight in 1 cup of water, and drank the mucilaginous water first thing in the morning, discarding the pods. In 6 weeks, her morning fasting blood glucose dropped by a remarkable 25 points, and her A1C began trending back toward the normal range. She was delighted because this simple change was the only intervention she needed to stabilize her blood sugar and protect her arteries. Your actionable technique, the best way to consume. Okra is lightly steamed, or using the okra water method. If you are sensitive to the texture, look for okra powder supplements, which provide the same soluble fiber benefits without the sliminess. Heart Fortress number 3. Beetroot. The arterial nitric oxide engine beetroot, or beets, is quite possibly the single most potent natural food available for immediately improving cardiovascular function, especially for older adults. The results are measurable within hours of consumption. The nitric oxide no boost. The secret weapon in beetroot is its exceptionally high concentration of dietary nitrates. Once consumed, these nitrates are converted by the healthy bacteria in your mouth and gut into nitric oxide no. Immediate vasodilation. Nitric oxide is a powerful signaling molecule that causes the smooth muscle walls of your arteries to instantly relax and dilate widen. This is like taking your artery, which is stiff and narrow, and suddenly making it wider and more flexible. This relaxation immediately reduces the pressure inside the vessel, leading to a rapid and measurable drop in blood pressure. The oral microbiome connection. New science. Recent groundbreaking research from the University of Exeter has shown that beetroot juice's effect is particularly pronounced in older adults. The study found that drinking nitrate-rich beetroot juice actively suppresses harmful mouth bacteria like Prevotella, which increases with age and promotes beneficial bacteria. This change in the oral microbiome allows for a more efficient conversion of dietary nitrates into the essential nitric oxide. This is vital because, as we age, our body's ability to produce no naturally declines. Beetroot reverses this age-related decline. Analogy: the rust remover. Think of your blood vessels as a slightly rusty old plumbing system. Nitric oxide is the specialized oil that is suddenly injected, lubricating the pipes, removing the internal friction, and allowing the water your blood to flow with much less resistance. This is why many athletes use beet juice for performance. It allows oxygenated blood to reach muscles and, critically, your brain more efficiently. Your actionable technique, the morning shot. The most effective way to consume beetroot is by drinking 1/2 cup of organic beetroot juice, low sugar or no sugar, added first thing in the morning, or about 1 hour before you exercise. Studies show blood pressure lowering effects within 2 to 3 hours. Cooking tip: if you cook beets, aim for gentle roasting or steaming rather than boiling, as boiling can leach out some of the beneficial nitrates into the water. If you see your urine or stools turn pink after consuming beets, do not panic. This is harmless and simply a sign your body is processing the pigments. Heart Fortress number 4. Dark Leafy Greens, the calcium traffic cop. Finally, we arrive at the undisputed powerhouse of heart and bone health, the dark leafy greens: spinach, kale, collard greens, and arugula. While they are celebrated for their magnesium, potassium, and folate, their most profound and often overlooked cardiovascular benefit is their role in managing calcium, the vitamin K1 MGP system. The most critical compound in leafy greens is vitamin K1 phylloquinone. In the context of heart health, vitamin K1 is the cofactor needed to activate a potent protein called matrix GLA protein MGP, arterial hardening prevention. MGP is your body's most effective inhibitor of vascular calcification, the process where calcium, which should be going to your bones, mistakenly deposits in the soft tissue walls of your arteries, making them rigid and brittle. This hardening of the arteries is a primary driver of high systolic blood pressure, heart attacks, and heart failure. The calcium traffic cop analogy. Think of MGP as the essential calcium traffic cop. Without enough active vitamin K1 from greens, the traffic cop is asleep. Calcium goes wherever it wants, often hardening your arteries. When you flood your system with leafy greens, the K1 wakes up the MGP and it directs the calcium to the correct destination, your bones and teeth, not your blood vessels. This process actively protects against arterial stiffness and reverses some age-related vascular damage. A major study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association that tracked over 50,000 individuals found that those with the highest intake of vitamin K1, primarily from green leafy vegetables, had a 21% lower risk of hospitalization due to atherosclerosis-related cardiovascular disease. The brain bonus, the benefits extend to your brain. Research from Rush University in Chicago showed that older adults who ate just one serving of leafy greens daily had a cognitive age that was 11 years younger than those who rarely ate them. A healthy heart and clean arteries ensure a sharp, protected brain. Your actionable technique, the daily serving: aim for at least 1 to 2 full cups of dark leafy greens every single day. A smoothie is an excellent way to mask the texture and easily consume a large quantity. Fat is essential. Because vitamin K1 is a fat-soluble vitamin, you must consume your greens with a source of healthy fat such as olive oil, avocado, or nuts to ensure maximum absorption and to properly fuel the MGP activation process. Conclusion and call to action. CTA: we have reached the end of this vital conversation, and I hope you feel truly empowered. We have unveiled the 4 hidden saboteurs: the high glycemic potatoes, the sodium-laden canned goods, the sugar-packed processed corn, and the acidic processed tomatoes, all of which are constantly stressing your heart. And we have armed you with the 4 true heart fortresses: the vasodilating garlic, the stabilizing okra, the nitric oxide boosting beetroot, and the artery-protecting dark leafy greens. Protecting your heart is not about massive, unsustainable changes. It is about making small, strategic swaps, replacing the white potato with cauliflower, mash, swapping and soup for homemade broth, and making sure your salad has a generous portion of kale with a drizzle of olive oil. These are the small daily acts of self-love that your 60-plus-year-old heart is begging you to perform. I want to know, which of these 4 heart heroes are you going to commit to adding to your diet starting tomorrow? Please leave a comment below and let me know whether you are committed to the garlic, the okra, the beetroot, or the leafy greens. By writing it down, you make a commitment to your health journey. If you found this crucial information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with another incredible woman over 60 who deserves a strong heart, and of course, subscribe to the Senior Forward Health channel. Hit that little bell icon so you never miss another piece of vital, life-extending health advice. Remember, you are not a passive victim of age. You are the commander-in-chief of your own health. Choose wisely, eat strategically, and live strong. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.